Welcome back to our Janie's Food. In this chapter, we delve into the intricate web of karma and destiny. It's a tale of great beings, enlightenment, and devotion, so make sure you stay tuned for the whole story. In a demonstration of their devotion, this chapter of Buddhist teachings drew us to a close, and we shall meet again in the future. Twice the venerable narrowly averted a grave misfortune in the birth of a mother to a future spiritual leader. The repercussions of these events serve as profound reminders of the intricate web of karma that binds our lives. In the era of the Buddha's birth, great beings from all around the world came into existence. During this time, only two noble beings, the Buddha himself and the Venerable Elvo, born in our country. The birthplace of these enlightened beings is now known as Nibbanarakina, a small kingdom. This chapter of Buddhist television drama of which I speak is the most successful and perfect representation of Buddhist teachings I have ever witnessed. On that day, a joyful bell unexpectedly rang outside, signifying the triumphant return of King Suddhodana. I listened intently, taking a deep breath of relief as he recounted the victory he achieved under the Bod tree. After his departure, we waited with anticipation, but it had been quite some time since we heard from him. I needed to deliver this wonderful news to my sister. I am known as Pabijabajila. My sister, along with King Suddhodana, share an exceptional bond. The only lament is the absence of an heir in their lives, which has persisted for many years. In their quest to secure an heir for the kingdom, my sister's passionate appeals eventually convinced me to Suddhodana. Our sisterly bond is unbreakable, and it had been years since we had heard the laughter of children in our home. My sister's compassion led her to a decision. She persuaded me to marry the king and grant him the heir he desired. Despite some initial hesitation, I agreed to join her in welcoming King Suddhodana and the two younger siblings into our lives. My sister, though anxious, beseeched the younger brothers to accompany their mother, who longed for her presence. Each day she accompanied the children, nurturing a bond she desired so deeply. With persistence and the unrelenting efforts of my sister, the children began to warm up to her. In their playfulness, they started to treat her as their own mother. There were some surreal moments, such as when the younger siblings inquired where their father was, and they were told only he could find their mother. My sister asked them to return home to their mother. She told me this with a profound sense of fulfillment. As the evening near, King Suddhodana was about to enter the palace when my sister halted him, requesting an offering for the temple's lantern. King Suddhodana, with no heir of his own, decided to take the duty as his own, bestowing offerings on his own behalf. With the offer in hand, he returned to the palace, delighting my sister. She decided it was time to welcome him back into the fold. My sister lit the lamps, her heart radiant with joy. It was a moment of unparalleled delight. King Suddhodana decided that he would rather bear the pain of his wounded heart than return without offering the lantern. My sister asked him how to live it. As I witnessed these events, I marveled at how love could fill the void that material possessions could never satisfy. Later that night, my sister went to check on her husband and found that he was no longer there. She had difficulty sleeping, as she rushed to my room where she saw me, her sister. I understood her feelings deeply and encouraged her to visit the birthplace of Lord Buddha, as he had mentioned. In response to her yearning, I assured her that her prayers would be answered. The next day, King Suddhodana said to my sister, "I want to see you holding a child." My sister replied that she dared not wish for such joy. I've reminisced about the years that had passed without children and how I too shared in her pain. I told her that we should buy some place and go to welcome a newborn. This day as we approached the birthplace, the weather was overcast, and clouds obscured the sun. The sky darkened as though hiding some divine secret. A gentle radiance of the sun slowly bathed the temple grounds. Inside the temple, a sudden burst of red lotus flowers caught everyone's attention. The head monk addressing the congregation described this as an auspicious omen. Both the younger sister and I smiled, facing in agreement. The head monk turned to the crowd and announced that the lotus flowers were in full bloom and that an event was about to unfold later that evening. Anticipating evening, I arrived at the temple earlier. When I spoke with the head monk, I expressed my hope that he would accompany Mahakarunika, the mother of the future child, that night. The head monk replied, "Your sister said that tonight you should spend time with her. I'm only passing on a message." He explained that the divine plan was beyond his control. The young lady Mahakarunika experienced some physical discomfort every month, and this was the night she was destined to conceive. The red lotus blossomed during the day, symbolizing an extraordinary event to come. It was apparent that this night would be unlike any other. During the night, as my sister and I experienced dreams and awakenings, we saw a vision of a six-toothed light elephant flying. It then entered the room through the window and placed a golden lotus in front of my sister. The following day, we invited a monk to interpret the dream. The monk diagnosed it as an auspicious dream signifying the imminent arrival of a noble spirit. Almost simultaneously, the young lady Mahakarunika informed us that she was expecting. That day my joy knew no bounds. I rushed to the temple. His excited eyes welled up with tears. The word spread beyond the temple into the city where people celebrated and sang songs. I felt elated running around without knowing exactly what to do. From then on, my sister's well-being became my sole responsibility. People even began to question whether I was her mother or her sister. Such was our devotion to each other. As for my feelings toward the king's son, were different from my sister's. I had already married the head, who had become both my mother and my foster mother. Our happiness led us to overlook the feelings of Yavakaruna, my younger sister. One day, as the monk played a game of ball, Yavakaruna positioned behind my sister accidentally threw a ball towards her. Fortunately, my sister fell backward. My friend Lejavara and I managed to catch her in time. As my thoughts were consumed by my sister, I ignored the feelings of Yavakaruna. The day that Tamatama, the poison master, gang me had never given gold to my father-in-law for performing the initiation ceremony. The king's son wanted me to find a way to collect the gold. When I asked Tulatama about the source of this gold, he threatened to kill me if I didn't keep quiet. I was at a loss about how to proceed. My friend Lajivara advised me that I must be patient, as I needed to be the king's son's companion for a long time. My own task of preparing medicines would also take some time. Lajivara told me that I had to cut into the situation. As I left to find my sister to report on these developments, Yavakaruna interrupted me. She desperately wanted to speak with the king's son to express her feelings. However, she was met with a stern warning from the head monk. "You can't say it, you can't say it," he repeated. I tried to stop Yavakaruna as she was about to approach my sister. I knew that Yavakaruna's intention was to reveal her true feelings to the king's son. Nevertheless, the head monk ordered her to wait and report later, as he wished to see my sister first. My sister's return meant I had to prepare the breast milk for the future child. As I was on my way to the kitchen, the king's son approached me trying to relay important information. The head monk, annoyed by Yavakaruna urgency, insisted that my sister be given priority. I had no choice but to go and at breast's milk. Along the way, the king's son discreetly poured poison into the milk. I handed the milk to my sister. I had just delivered the tray to my sister's mouth when the head monk, King Bewildered, approached. He realized something was amiss and wanted to intervene. Between the two, looked at the situation with confusion and helplessness. The milk was already at my sister's lips and I didn't know what to do. Just as I was about to prevent my sister from drinking it, Yavakaruna intervened and passed her the milk. Everyone in her watched with bated breath. Suddenly a swift figure dashed into the scene. She said, "I need to meet first, not Wailu. The older sister has always had a special fondness for her." I had just handed the porridge to her, and at that moment Najika suddenly refused. Everyone's eyes widened. I asked Najika what she intended to do, and she angrily exclaimed that the porridge was poisoned. I couldn't understand who was behind this malicious act, and the face of such adversity, guided by her virtues and righteousness, pointed the finger at herself. Humphrey, upon realizing that the situation had taken a turn, in a moment of intense confrontation, a gunshot appeared, who found now pierced by an arrow, posed three profound questions to Humphrey. "Why did you kill me?" You haven't even revealed the name of the mastermind. Hufan walked up to Wagyu, his eyes filled with regret and his voice trembling. The Hu family had strong beliefs, and this incident was too much to bear. The time of Wang Halbroth was fast approaching. The husband and wife were in great danger and had harmed Wang twice before. Still, they remained stubborn and oblivious. On this day, they arrived at Wang Ai's location, warning her to leave immediately. This way, they could ambush Wang halfway, who couldn't help but agree. The matter was settled. Anxious, they decided to take their paramedics and medical teams away, and we camped to a beautiful blue sky-marked garden that night. The scenery here was like a fairyland. His elder sister was joyfully strolling in the garden, and I asked her to rest under a tree. I rushed to Humphrey and his wet nurse. At that moment, Yael walked over to them. At this point, the Wang family's teacher and ascetic was on the snowy mountains. He had already sensed the breath of a great spirit. The future Buddha was born into the beautiful moon of this miraculous night. As soon as he descended, he would be walking and talking. He took 7 steps, and with each step, a lotus flower sprouted from the ground. He then pointed to the heavens and the earth, saying, "In this world that only I am the most revered." This event was not adequately portrayed on television, but it is a classic historical account. That concludes this chapter of our Buddhist narrative, filled with unexpected twists and profound insights. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of karma's spiritual significance and selfless devotion. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking tales from the world of Buddhism. Until next time, stay enlightened.